Buddy Martin Show. I am Buddy Martin. This is the show tonight. We have our Thursday cast coming on tonight. You'll always enjoy them. Ben Troupe, sitting there somewhere between here and Savannah, will join us shortly. He always has a few things to say, perhaps every now and then a sermon to preach. Franz Beard will clarify some things for us about what's going on with the Gator football team here in a bit. And then we'll have Coach Loren Meadows. What a terrific show last night with a guest he had on analyzing the Gator offense. So I'm Buddy Martin. The show's about to start. We will be here for you. Bring in your questions, and we'll try to get them answered or responded to. Appreciate all you folks supporting the program. Had a great crowd last night for Urban Meyer. I thought was one of the most interesting guests. We always liked Urban, but he was really good last night. Had several of you call me and tell me that. Stand by. The Buddy Martin Show is up next.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Welcome to the Thursday night. It's Saturday night in Miami. We're going to find out something about this football team. Have they got any juice left? Can they compete at this level now? How good a football team is this? And the big question, which we'll address tonight, did we misjudge this team because of their talent? Have we given Billy kind of a pass? Or do we need to wait and see what happens on Saturday night? Some of you have seen enough. Some of you would like them to let him go. And we've had many discussions about that last couple of days. We'll talk about it. Financially, it's not likely because in talking last night with Urban Meyer and others, the money is running out. The money is running out, and the big buyouts and all that kind of stuff, perhaps those days are over. Certainly, I think Ben's having a problem getting in tonight. Let's see if he can try him again. There he is. Yeah, so we got to talk about expectations here. Expectations being what we said. Ben was there, and then he's not. So we'll see. I saw an interesting comment tonight about that. Ben seems like he's having problems with the internet. Someone said, talking about the football team, did we just have unreal expectations? Were they out of whack? Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to address that tonight. I'm going to talk about perhaps some misguided notions we had about this football team and the program and what happened. And I'm guilty with it as well. So we're going to see if we're able to get through with Ben. Hopefully we are. Let's see. Is he there? No. Let's see. Not there. Is he here? No. All right, Ben. Just keep trying, brother. I'm sorry you're having such a tough night tonight. It's just not working out. Stand by. Maybe I'll get you on the phone too as well, so try it out. So I think it's really interesting to tackle it from that standpoint, and the standpoint of what was accurate and what wasn't. And look, I will admit to at times, getting a little too fired up and really accessing my expectations and thinking I'm being spot on because I don't come on here and talk about this football team and project it just to be a good fan. I'm glad it's good for the Gators, but I also take some pride in my evaluations, and I'd like to be right and I'm not necessarily it had to be popular. I can be wrong and be okay with that too. And for whatever reason, and Ben's having problems getting in tonight. I don't know. We're going to try to give him a call. Maybe we'll talk to him. Whatever reason, it's out of whack. Now, most of you, if you're honest, and I'll get your comments here in a minute, will say Florida's last time I checked, 7.5-point underdog in Miami. And you would say that the Gators probably had no chance of winning this game. And I get it. I get the feeling. I understand why. It's just, unfortunately, that's how it is. So we see Ben now. I don't know if he can hear us. Can you hear us, Ben?
Yep. I hear you.
Okay. That's the way to hang in there, brother. I mean, it took you about 8 times, but by guys, you got it. Good job. Just talking about expectations, Ben, you and I tend to be on the positive side of the cycle. And we predict and we project and we hope. And sometimes our hopes perhaps a little bit color our thinking, but we're honest and we do try to be accurate in what we say. So someone said today regarding what's wrong with the football team, they had too many high expectations. And consequently, this is where we are. I don't know. I'm going to talk about some of the things that might have been misguided notions in a minute and confess I certainly played a part in that. But I don't know. Did you think you were right about this football team being a possible 9 or 10 win team and perhaps playing in the SEC championship game?
Absolutely. That was based on what the roster had done. But I also, buddy, understand that recruiting is not coaching. I mean, this is the best roster that Billy Napier's ever had. And I think sometimes, right, it's easy to get discouraged when you look at what hasn't happened. I wasn't on when we were talking about USF. For everybody that had something to say about the USF game, and it was not a good game. This is the same USF team that missed the field goal. The last time Florida played USF, they missed the field goal, and that's how we beat them. You fast forward to Saturday night. It was ugly. 5 interceptions, 5 sacks. Most teams, buddy, and I said this, and people got mad at me for this. I said most teams that throw 5 interceptions, give up 5 sacks, lose by 20 points, lose by 30 points. We lost by 10 points. The defense only gave up a touchdown. We gave up a pick 6, which means if we don't give up the pick 6, we lose 13-10. Does that make it better? No, because we still lose the game. But I think the thing about it is this, buddy, and I'm not making this. Let me make sure I preface this right. People be thinking that as a former player, myself, I'm not allowed to say anything negative about the team and negative about the players. I go, yes, I am. But if I'm going through X or TikTok it's enough negativity to go around. I'm just choosing to not be on that side. And I'm frustrated just like anybody else, buddy. But here's the thing. Has Florida played their best? No. Has the defense played better? Yes. Do we know what's going on with DJ? Absolutely not. Do we got to figure it out? Yes. And I think the thing about it is a lot of teams didn't have us beating LSU, regardless if we win the LSU 2-0 and we come out 2-1. Does that make it better? No. I just think that when you are at the University of Florida, whether you're the coach, the player, the quarterback, you will get two things not gonna happen. One, you can't hide and you're not gonna get no sympathy. And I'm just always, buddy, being in this space, being a public figure, being in the media, I understand that me being a former player, what I say holds weight. And it's not like I'm trying to mince my words. I'm trying to be professional about it all the time. Because when I say something, when Shane says something, when Chris Doran gets paid to do it, Kevin Carter gets paid to do it, it hasn't been pretty. I don't think our expectations were unrealistic. Because, buddy, that's based on what happened at the end of 2024, recruiting, and what we had coming into 2025. It just hasn't happened. And still got a lot of season left. Still got an opportunity to go out there and win some games. I just think that we have grown accustomed, and I'm going to throw myself in it. We have grown accustomed to just piling on when it's chaotic. Piling on when it's not good. And I just think that sometimes, our expectations is the only thing that lead to disappointment. And I get that part too. But, buddy, I don't like to say it could be much worse because it could. It's just first 3 games, we ain't even gonna count the first game because we understand that one. But the second game got away from us. In the third game, our offense just didn't play well. I mean, DJ Lagway in particular, getting away from the run game. Myzel probably should have been in the game more. I don't really know the game plan right now or what they're trying to do with Trey Wilson. I really don't know what they're doing with him besides him going in motion 150 times a game. So, and that usual suspect known as Billy Napier calling the plays. So I just think that Gator Nation is warranted, and they are in how they feel. Right? I get it, but buddy. Unfortunately, they got to get it right. And I'm talking about DJ. I'm talking about the offense. I'm talking because this Miami defensive line is nasty. They are nasty good. But it comes with it, buddy. It seems
right,
like
so
the past 3 years.
I hear what you're saying.
So,
That's a good point, and I'll get to this. I want to get back to expectations in terms of what they mean. When we give them, we don't just go out and try to make you feel good by saying they're going to win 10, We try to be accurate. So we had Urban Meyer on last night, and he was terrific. And a lot of people just begged him to come back. And, of course, that's not going to happen. The process by which you must obtain another coach, and this was expressed to me by other athletic directors who have high connections, who've hired people before, and they said, you don't know how hard it is to find someone who's really talented and movable, who will leave. And the discussion centered around Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin says he's really happy in Oxford. People say, oh, no, he'll take the money. I don't know. I asked several other people, including Paul Feinbaum, who's the closest person to him in the media. And he said, if I gave you $1 million and said, bet on where he'd be in Gainesville or Oxford, what would you say? He said, Oxford. So I'm just saying, people say, well, we're Florida. We're going to go out and give him $12 million a year. He's going to come to work for us. It ain't that way. I mean,
No.
You think it's that way, but it ain't that way. And let me say something else. Can I put the kibosh on this rumor right now that you were not told by somebody in Washington what to say, that this is your opinion and not somebody else in the political arena telling you what to say, right?
Yeah, but listen, there ain't no cue cards over here. Ain't no, and buddy, this
ain't got no muzzle at your house. I know that.
Ain't no cue cards, ain't no teleprompters. But this is the world we live in now. It's almost like they want, when I say they, I use that word loosely. Certain aspects of college athletics, they want you to just pile on. We're looking at the same game. I'm just giving you something different. All I said was 5 interceptions, 5 sacks. We lost by 10 points. The offense gave up, another 6 to LSU. Nussmeier was neutralized like I haven't seen him in a while, and we lost. What I'm saying is now, when it comes to it, here's the reason why the University of Florida, it's hard for people to say yes. They want the money. They know what goes on here. Ain't no hiding here. It's not like and this is nothing against other places. The expectation in Florida is through the roof, and that's regardless of what haven't happened in a long time. It's regardless of what we haven't seen in the last 4 years. I get that the standard was set by Coach Spurrier. It was met by Urban Meyer, and it's hard. It's extremely difficult to do it. And yes, you'll take the money. I don't, and I just think that teams that are successful consistently have one thing in common: a head coach that's been there a while. You're not going to have a lot of coaches that's going to win it all when they haven't established a culture. And I'm not saying that Florida couldn't be in that. I think what happens at Florida is, buddy, and you know it better than me, we've seen it happen here. We've seen what it's like when we at our peak. Most colleges can't say that. Most colleges' best teams never played for a conference championship. They've never won a natty, and these are some of their best teams. Florida, it's a little bit different. And I think sometimes because we've seen it, Urban Meyer tell you how hard it is. Coach Spurrier will tell you how hard it is to stay at the top of the mountain, not just get there. So I will, we're gonna have to. It's a strong consideration with what's not going on with Billy Napier. That's a possibility. But until that is a reality, this is who we got. This is what we got. This is what we're doing, and not to compare us to any other team, but Florida is unlike any other team in the state of Florida. And that takes nothing away from the team on the Panhandle and the team we're going to play on Saturday. It's just different. So let me say this. I'm never making excuses. I am not paid by the University of Florida. I am not consulted by the UAA. I say what I want, how I want. But because I am a former player, and because I'm a 43-year-old former player, I can speak on behalf of the current 18 to 24-year-olds. I'm trying to speak for them while trying not to criticize them as much. And all I'm saying is no one wants to win more than them. Nobody. It is not possible. But, buddy, it just hasn't happened. And recruiting isn't coaching. And we'll see what happens because, like I say, it's going to take one good performance and a strong win to turn this thing around. But unfortunately, it just hasn't happened yet. We'll see what happens We'll see what happens Saturday.
All right, let me clarify something here. There's several people on here who keep saying this for 2 days. One of them is Brad Ryan. Even my buddy Toby Parmenter keeps saying that when I talk about Kiffin and what I have found out talking to many people, including people who are his friends, talking to athletic directors, former athletic directors, what I feel after hearing him talk is that they say, hey, no, Shane said he would leave for Florida. Shane doesn't know. Shane thinks he would. I don't know either.
Nope.
I can tell you this much. There are times in your life where money is not your primary motivator. And sometimes you do get in a happy place in your life. You've probably been there one time, Ben. I have, where I was very happy and doing something in my family and a new job and a new career, whatever. And I didn't want to leave. And a couple of people came to me, including a really big job up in the Northeast, and asked me. And I said, right now, I just don't want to move or change. And it can happen. You've probably had it too in your life where you thought, well, I could do this and go here, but I don't want to. Mm-hmm. You live in Savannah, Georgia for a reason, where you want to be. There's a reason you're not doing Denver Bronco games out there,
Yeah.
And someone said to me last week, someone who was a graduate of the University of Florida Journalism School, a very smart person, said to me, buddy, you're so lucky because you have a degree in journalism. I don't have a degree. I'm 11 hours short. You're a University of Florida product. You get to do what you love and write and talk, and people respect you for what you do. And I hope that part is true. And you're very blessed. And not everybody gets to do it. And I do feel that way. And I'm sure you feel the way you do, that you get to do what you do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think, first of all, Billy Napier had been fired. But I do think that that there are certain people who that are hard to hire, and it's not always money. That's just my thoughts, and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. But you're right, brother. You're right, and here's the thing too, right? To get to a place in your life that money isn't the motivator, that you are happy where you are happy in what you're doing, you are content in what you're doing. It's a great place to be because the younger you are, the more you're going to chase the money. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But the older you get, you chase opportunity more than you chase money. If the opportunity is right, the money don't have to be as right. But
that's right. I've taken jobs.
But when you are as accomplished, here's the thing, buddy. When people look at what you do or look at what you've done, and they'll use the word like it's easy. No, you only see me on the scene. You don't see what it takes to do it. You don't see the research. And there's nothing wrong with people saying that, but you got to see the whole process from start to finish. It's like when you saw the cake, it was just flour on the table and the eggs. By the time you came back, it was a full cake. When we the one got to get the flour, we the one got to get the vanilla extract. Is it gonna be buttercream? We're whipping it up, and we just learned we make these cakes a little better than this. We prefer this over that. For Urban Meyer is always going to give consideration to the University of Florida for what the University of Florida did for his career, and he knows what it takes to do it. Well, Urban, right, isn't as young as he used to be, and I'm talking about in college, how much college take out of you. College takes a lot out of you, and I'm always praying for like Mark Ritt. I'm praying for Mark Ritt all the time with his diagnosis. Before Mark Ritt left Georgia, you could see how much it took on, how much of a toll. Then he goes to Miami, and because that's what no one talks about, right? How much of a toll it takes to coach. You got to be dedicated. You got to have a solid support staff at home. So I'm not taking nothing away. I just think that the University of Florida is one of the hardest places to win, and it's one of the hardest places to coach because of the expectation, which is what you've been talking about the whole time, buddy. And with all the comments over here, with somebody saying, so Ben made this point, this is an opportunity to get a dream job back. I get it. I don't know who's going to fix it. Congrats to Vernon Maxwell as well. I see Toby saying it. The all-time leader scorer in Florida Gator basketball history. So shout out to Vernon.
That's right. Exactly. Congratulations. There you go right there. They restored his records. And I hope Franz will be on here shortly because I know he saw him and knows him. And congratulations. They did something right on that. That's a good thing to do. So, because if you go back and start expunging records of players because of something they did, it's like you just say about the Hall of Fame baseball. They say they left this guy out for that, and Babe Ruth wasn't a saint. So you start passing. Anyway, let's get to the subject at hand. We're going to get to it in just a minute, and we're going to touch on this just a little bit and come back to it. We don't have to be definitive right now, but we do need to touch on it, and that is, as someone says, all right, they want to say, okay, we get it. So what is it? So Brad Ryan says, so who is the person we get to fix the insanity? And that's a $64 million question. We don't know that. And, we think we know, but we don't know. So I would say, we talked about it last night. We discussed it some. We have names. And at the end of the night, we talked about who would be, preferable and who's hireable. Again, as it was told to me, you never know who is hireable and who's available because some people are not movable, right? I'm sure you got your little list. I'm sure Scott Strickland has got his little list. We all got our little list and people we think would be a fit. But let me just remind you, I thought Dan Mullen was going to be a home run too.
Yep.
And I've been wrong before. I did not like to hire Muschamp. He should have been. Muschamp should have been, the guy. He had the old Gainesville background. He was aware of the program. He should have been it. Anyway, we continually made a mistake. And I don't know the answers. The golden boy is Lane Kiffin. That's who everybody wants, Lane Kiffin. Yeah, maybe he'll come, maybe he won't. I think there are more important things sometimes than money. And hearing Lane talk, as I've done a lot lately, and hearing others talk who know him, and hearing stories about his granddaughter moving there, things that she said she was there and he was looking at the Auburn job and she says, great, I moved here, now you're going to move? Those things hit your heart. You don't know if you have a grandkid say that to you. So say, you think about yours. You think about who you think is hireable. Because I remember when we thought Bobby Stoops was always coming, right? Every time. Bobby Stoops is coming. And Bobby Stoops didn't come. I remember us talking about Bobby Stoops being on the runway, taxiing on the runway when Urban decided to stay. I don't know if it's true or not, but, and I get it. Tim Blackburn says it is frustrating. I get it. We get it's frustrating. But this is Florida football, Ben. And as I wrote yesterday, It's a blood sport.
Yep.
That's the way it's always been. Otherwise we've lost every coach except 2. They were just Hall of Famers. And, you don't get that many national championships. Some will still haven't won any. There are 3 at Florida. And so we'll just have to see how that works out. But let's do a commercial, talk about our good friends at Meldon Law while we wait for Franz. And I have these 3 what ifs. Here comes Franz. What ifs that we can in fact, let me bring Franz aboard and say good evening, and we'll go do that. Looks like Aaron Duke is ready. What's up, Francis?
Oh, just another day in paradise, guys.
Yeah. We're going to get to this in a minute. I'm going to do the commercial first for our friends at Meldon. And I want to tell you guys to think of what is some of the misguided notions that you or we had about this year's Gator team. I've got a couple. What are the misguided notions to this day? We don't know. They could be Miami Friday, Saturday night. They could. But at this point in time, where did we go wrong? And then we'll say, all right, who's going to be your coach? I know what Francis is going to say. Stand by while I tell you about our good friends at Meldon Law. You talk about great people. When you want to do business with a good professional and a good Gator, someone who loves the University of Florida, puts his money where his mouth is, only official law firm of University of Florida is Meldon Law. And Jeffrey Meldon is one of the best people, great fan. He enjoys being a Gator. He enjoys being an attorney and helping you solve your problems. It's not easy to find a good attorney, trust me. And this is where you can be pretty confident you're going to get one. Even if you don't think they're the ones to handle your case in your field, they'll guide you somewhere, so you will, because their number one concern is getting you legal help. They could probably handle most of it, but they may not be. So give them a call. They have 4 locations to serve you: Ocala, Gainesville, Williston, Lake City, and now another one in South Florida, I believe Boca Raton. There are now 50 attorneys working for them. When we first started these commercials, there were like 5. So they're growing. They're professional. They're highly regarded. They're dedicated to the University of Florida. And that's the kind of person I want to do business with. And you should too. Meldon Law, they won't back down. All right, Francis, misguided notions when this season started. I've got a few, and I'm going to get to those in a minute. First of all, just in general, we thought there was more money than would be as much money as there were grains of sand on the beach in college football. That didn't turn out that way. Already we're starting to hear. And Urban Meyer said last night, he's heard the money's drying up, the extravagant facilities, the ridiculous buyouts, the bloated coaching staffs are a thing of the past. That's changing. So that would be a misguided notion. But on the Gators, what is it that you think was the biggest misguided notion? I'll go back to one. All this holding the Gators back is better facilities. Boy, I heard that one a bunch. That's not exactly catching in. France, you got one?
Yeah, we were under the misguided notion that all of the giveaways were a thing of the past, that the Gators had grown out of giving games away, that they could go out there and play games and they wouldn't invent new ways to lose. And they've been famous for that in the past, and guess what? They're still doing it. I counted it the other day. Counting this year, there's 11 games that should have been won. Any way you look at it, they should have been won. Billy Napier is 31-10 now instead of 20-21. We're hailing him as the next big thing that we can't wait for the championship banners to be unfurled in the future. But let's face it, buddy, you're never going to, you keep repeating the same stuff that you've always done. What's that old saying? You'll always be what you've always been if you always do what you've always done. Guess what we're doing?
Insanity is doing the same thing over again, expecting a different result. That's
the same thing. And I thought they had grown past it. I was under the mistaken notion that I was also under the mistaken notion that we had an offensive line that was going to just absolutely wipe people out.
Yeah.
And our offensive line is absolutely right now. I would say our offensive line there may be one that's playing worse in the SEC. I don't know. We're rock. If we aren't rock bottom, we're close to it.
Let's start over to Ben and see if he agrees with those, and see what do you think some of the expectations, or maybe there weren't any, Ben, about this team that proved to be wrong. Misguided notions.
No, I mean, I agree with Franz, and I would even add to it. DJ Lagway was a guy that we thought that he's not gonna he'll be fine once he gets back into the flow. And sometimes it takes longer to get back into the flow. He didn't play in the spring, didn't play in the summer. It was so much speculation about his injury situation, and now it's just a head scratcher as to what's going on with him. Like, we don't know. Ability is still there, athleticism is still there, arm is still there. Above the neck, we don't know. And it's something that Franz said. Florida finds ways to lose games in ways that nobody else does. There's nobody to compare it to. You can't throw 5 interceptions and lose by 10 points. Only Florida can do that. Only Florida can do that. I mean, we were talking about Marco Wilson. They were talking about on ESPN last week, throwing the shoe. We talk about a couple of years removed from we couldn't stop a nosebleed when we was playing Kentucky. That dude was still running. That dude is still running. And I think that's the thing about Florida is you hope that we got to a point to where we find a way to lose ugly. I mean, find a way to win ugly instead of losing ugly, because talent is one thing. They ain't lacking that. Effort is everything. Mentality is everything. And I think the expectation for this Florida team is we won the offseason. We won it. We got the players coming in. We got players asking out of letters of intent to come to here. We got transfers. We got the recruiting class that ain't playing the game. Then they kick the ball off. And LIU, bless their soul. I mean, that wasn't going to be competitive. USF comes in, and we're thinking, dude, what is going on? And when it's 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, and we got the ball on our 40 going in, and we miss the field goal, then we get the ball again, and we take 10 seconds off. You like, dude, we about to. If you are a Florida fan, you thinking, dude, we about to lose, because Florida. It's like we need to just kick a field goal. The game is out of reach. We win. Nope, we didn't do it. I can't remember who the head coach was. We're about to lose to Louisiana Lafayette. We're about to lose to them in the swamp. They finna punt. We blocked the punt, and we score a touchdown and win. Louisiana was like, dude.
That was with Muschamp.
Yeah, I remember stuff like that. We are so far removed from that because – like I said, we got the talent, we got a lot of things, but I think the expectations become disappointment when you start saying to yourself, dude, what is going on? Offensive line was supposed to be a strength, right? Defensive line was supposed to be a strength, which is it was looking good. It was looking good. It's just not, our best receiver is VB3. He's our best receiver.
World
right?
class. Yeah, so, and the other guys not getting the ball much. Yeah, I agree. Those are good points. All right, so let me give you one more. All Billy Napier needs to win the SEC is a better defense.
Yeah. Well, the defense isn't the problem. I mean, they really aren't.
No, we thought if he ever got a defense after last year, he's going to be a little lay down,
But buddy, I looked back on some things. I mean, there was a game with Kentucky a couple of years ago, maybe it was 3 years ago. And Florida outplays Kentucky. The defense is outstanding. And what happens? The offense gave the game away. Florida ends up losing a winnable ball game. There's something about this coach since he's been here that we have a team that almost, you got to wonder sometimes they don't sit around and say, we've never lost one like this. Why don't we give it a try and see if we can? I mean, I've never seen a team with more creative ways to lose. I mean, you look at Anthony Richardson's first year there. We go 6-6 in the regular season, and I think 5 of those ball games we've got the ball last, and one of them is against Vanderbilt, and you're thinking, boy, all he's got to do is complete a couple passes down the field. We got this one in the bag. And what does he do? He couldn't. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jerry Frazier says Gator football is cursed. I wrote a column this week about, and I told Ben, Gator football has always been a blood sport. This is how it's been since I've been following for almost a century. And that's just how it is. And for some reason or another, we've always been arrogant enough. Dan Jenkins, I had it in my book one time. And that, Franz, you remember the quote?
Yeah.
Gator football has the arrogance of Wake Forest and
the arrogance of Notre Dame and the on the field winning or whatever.
Yeah, I should get the book and read it, but the idea was they think they're Notre Dame or whoever.
The arrogance of Notre Dame, the reality of Wake Forest.
Yeah. But
I mean,
yeah, and that's how it used to be. But now, since 1990, that all changed. And Ben got to be a part of it. Shane got to be a part of it. And now it's a different level, and it's kind of expectations. So maybe expectations are a bit bigger, and they should be. Why shouldn't you have expectations? We talked about what we expect out of this team, about the lack of facilities, how we thought that would fix it. We talked about the defense being better. Here's another one. Who among us did not think that DJ Lagway and Arch Manning would be two of the greatest quarterbacks in history?
Well,
thought it, right?
Oh, heavens. The Texas-Florida game is going to be the marquee game on ABC because they anticipated a shootout among the two quarterbacks that they figured were going to be among the top 3 candidates to win the Heisman Trophy. Oh. And now you find out that Arch Manning is barely completing 50% of his passes. He's got real mechanical issues. And we've known DJ has mechanical issues. We thought he might have gotten past them. And he's not past them. They've gotten worse.
Yeah. And a lot of people like Shane think he's too heavy, at 247, etc. There's a lot of criticism. But as I said in the column, for a school that says in all kinds of weather we'll all stick together, that mantra is being somewhat hypocritical right now lately. And I'm not ready to throw that young quarterback over the side at this point in time because he just had one bad game.
Oh no, we're not doing that.
Well, I know you're not. But I'm just saying.
I'm saying that I do my best to not talk about the play calling. But at a certain point, I get it. Got to execute. And this is coming from a person. My last 2 years of Florida, our passing game was menu 1 through menu 9. I think the thing about the Billy Napier experiment, which we gonna rock with him, is the fact that you got to show nuance. You got to show creativity. You can't, and you got too many players. I remember when sometimes a coach would call a play in practice, and our mannerisms would be bad. Like you could do that kind of stuff in practice. And Zon Breaker would get mad, and he'll say, "What's wrong with y'all?" He'll say, "Dude, why you calling plays like we can't do it for real?" And he's like, "What you mean? Call some plays, take some risks, because what's the worst that could happen? We don't get it on 3rd and 4." Because I'm telling you, when it comes to these play calls, sometimes you say to yourself, "Look, my nephew goes to Kennesaw State. He didn't play on Saturday. I went to the game. And I was like, I'm up there at the game. I'm up there sounding like I'm up there sounding like Tony Romo. I'm calling the players before they happen. They about to do this, they about to do it. My brother was like, I said, the defense should dictate what you do. If it's 2 high safeties, you got to run it. If it's 1 high safety, you got to throw it. He was like, really? Yeah, but you got to be creative. When you watching us, it'll look like sometimes we ain't got the athletes, and we do. You do got the athletes. It's just with Coach Napier, open it up. Like, open this bad boy up sometimes. Because I think, listen, I'm never going to throw DJ Lagway away. And let me say this because Loren is finally on here. I am a former player. I'm looking at the camera. I'm a former player, and I got a big mouth. I talk a lot. Let me say this. If you are a former player and you are saying stuff that you cannot validate, you might want to stop that stuff. And this is why. Listen, if Franz Beard got a story, if Buddy Martin got a story, you know what else they got? They got sources. If you saying stuff, I ain't calling no names, but if you saying stuff and you validated or invalidated, my question is why? Why would you do that when you know your name holds weight? I'm not calling no names because this is a family show. But all I'm saying is I don't like the fact that, look, if you want to be in media, holler at Buddy. You add the Gator bait or something if you want to get in media. But if you in another environment, please, man, let's not start doing that. And like I said, I love us all, but I'm just saying the stuff that I was reading after the game at LSU, I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is this? And like I say, I'm not calling no names, not naming no names.
Yeah, we have that in the media, just like everybody else does. And I want to make an important point about this because I think Loren last night had a tremendous show and had a guy breaking down film. I wish we'd had some of his video. We didn't. Talking about it. He's as good as I've seen. I'll let you talk about who he is. You want to learn about football at a high level and about the sophistication of an offense or lack of, this guy can do it, Loren.
Yeah, we had James DiVirgilio on of the Gator Nation football podcast, and every week, I mean, he basically goes into a hole from like Sunday to Tuesday, and really does a great job of breaking things down, explaining it, and is just spot on with a lot. But not only does he look at the play design, he looks at what each player is doing, and he and I talk or text quite a bit, and the thing is, he's the one that noticed, yes, Billy Napier is not calling, what we would consider best great plays. But when you look at the feet of DJ Lagway, you look at the feet of some of the offensive linemen and things like that, you wonder why plays aren't working. Well, there it is. Now, I don't think they're great designs, and James will be the first to tell you, and he's been out there for a while, that it's a very restrictive offense. It's not quarterback friendly, and when your quarterback is your best player, maybe not right now, but on paper is your best player, then your offense should be quarterback friendly, and it just is not. May have been friendly for Levi Lewis, but it's not friendly for DJ Lagway, and Levi Lewis ain't DJ Lagway. So, I think Graham Mertz, I thought he played a lot better than people thought he would or thought he did, in spite of Napier. And DJ Lagway in his 9th, 10th start, this is just not for him. And James pointed out that he spent most of his high school offense in empty. And you would think that Billy would then allow some of that stuff and maybe say, hey, what did you do? What did you like? All these coaches, it's all about copying. You can go to I mean, they'll let you come to Ohio State and watch practice. They'll let you go to different places that are doing some things great. You can go up and watch the Redskins and what they're doing with Jaden Daniels. You can go over to Eagles and
not the Redskins.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. The Commanders. And you could do all that. So it's just like this thing that Billy has hitched his wagon to is going to be his downfall. And it's an offense that, I mean, you got to be great. It would almost have to be an offense that, like I said, the quarterback is just so good at knowing where the ball needs to go. I mean, I asked him a couple weeks ago. I said, You seem to be running into bad fronts in the South Florida game. You had them outnumbered, outflanked. Does DJ have the opportunity to check to that side if you're outflanked or anything? And he said, "Well, I have to look at it on film." Well, either he does have the option or he doesn't. It's a simple question, and I'm yet to get that answer, other than the fact that he told the guys then on that Monday that he thought DJ got him into the right place.
Yeah, well, it was a good show. Yeah, good stuff. I want to get back to Franz on this, and I want to get back to what we said about expectations. Some people suggest that we had false expectations that were too big, that maybe this team wasn't everything that we dreamed that it would be. And we discussed tonight some of the reasons and misguided notions. Like, boy, as soon as Florida gets those new facilities, they're going to recruit all kind of players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, wow, as soon as we get the defense, that's what's going to happen. A defense is going to be playing an SEC championship here. Or on and on. And Franz brings up, we thought this is a world-class offensive line. It's not even above average right now. So those are expectations, Loren, that many of us have. Let's go around the horn and say, what's the one thing that we'd like to see? And I'm going to start mine by saying, for someone who wants to be consistent, Billy is not consistent because when one quarter, when he controls the game with a long drive and can't get in the red zone, can't get in a short touchdown, and he has a running back that gets 57 of the yards on the drive. And then he has actually 3 long drives, but he never comes back to that guy from the first quarter. And we know who that guy would be, number 13. He got lost. And I don't understand the sequencing and the rhythm of his offense. And my expectation they would be able to at least script something so it feels like it's one piece. And maybe I was wrong about that. Franz, what's yours?
Well, I'll go back to something Loren said. He said that some of the things that he does probably weren't just peachy for Levi Lewis at Lafayette. Well, you got to understand something, too. What they were doing in the Sun Belt, you can probably get separation for, and you can make a pass that goes for 15 yards. This ain't the Sun Belt. We have linebackers as fast as corners in the Sun Belt in this league. And you have to adapt to the competition, and he has not adapted to the competition. We see that because 3 years and 3 games into his tenure here, he's still calling the same plays and getting the same results. And everybody who plays the Gators says we can tell the plays before they even snap the ball based on how they've lined it up. And other teams have been saying that for 41 games into it. And we've heard that for most of the part of 41 games. The offense is very, very predictable. There is no surprise. We had an explosive play, got called back.
And that was broken. It wasn't designed.
Yeah, that was exactly. That was a guy fell down. So we got a bunch of problems here. And so many of these problems are of our own doing. It's not like that we've been hit with a rash of bad luck. It's not like, I don't know, buddy, you grew up, remember the little Abner commercial, and you had the guy Joe Bafutsplik.
Had the black cloud over his head, yeah.
Had the black cloud over his head all the time.
I call him Joe Blissick, but it was bigger than that. Some crazy name, yeah. Yeah.
But it's like, there was a black cloud over this guy at all time. And wherever he went, you automatically expected the worst.
Yep.
And it's gotten to this point with Billy Napier that we see it and we automatically are expecting the worst. And when you get a fan base doing that, that's not a good thing.
All right, let's do this. Let's devote a couple of minutes to how it can be fixed. You got a quarterback there who's just still one of the world-class quarterbacks. What do you do about it? Getting him fixed? What do you do about the coaching job? What needs to be done right now? Now let's start with Ben. You got 2 minutes. What needs to be done now if you want to pick a coach? What do you want to do? What offense? And what do you do to fix? Can the young QB snap out of his nightmare?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, I hope he can. And I think the thing about it is, though, if you ask him a coach, I mean, does he have full control of the offense, a.k.a. to audible at the line, and you get silence? That's not good. If he has opportunity to go to the line and make calls, because until you play loose, you can't play free. You just can't. And I've never played quarterback at that level, so I don't know what DJ Lagway is dealing with. But once an 18-year-old Chris Lee got a chance to play loose, he played free, and he played better because he ain't confined. So I think the thing about DJ is we know he got a live arm, but he don't call these plays. Some of these plays, I go, we did not call a timeout and come out of timeout and run that. And I think the thing is, we got to get past this vanilla stuff. We are so vanilla on offense. If you are any skilled player on offense, you don't know what to expect. Are we going to run the ball? Or are we going to stick with the run? Are we going to open up the pass? Are we going to dink and dunk? I should go into the game with some type of normalcy in my mind of what we're going to do as a game plan. And I guarantee you, they do not. If I am Mizell, I'm thinking, did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
Did I do something wrong? You don't need players like that. You just don't. So I don't know. I don't know what you do about Billy Napier with that, because he act as if somebody's telling him he can't call play. Dude, call it. But call it. Be aggressive, because being aggressive gonna help. I think a lot of the play calling and what's not going on is contributing to what's going on with DJ. I'm making no excuses for him, but he only can control what the coach calls. And if he don't got enough freedom to get to the line to audible, because if it's another bear looking front and we still run it, we can't check it to the right if we was going to the left. If it's stuff like that and saying, did we just run it into that? So it's things like that.
Yeah, Loren, I was going to say, if you're vanilla and you're lining up and you're saying mano a mano, we're going to run our running game, you better be better than the other guy. And clearly they're not better. If you just say we're going to take it vanilla and we're going to just beat you, they aren't good enough to do that, Loren.
I don't think any team is good enough. I mean, you look at any team, even the great Georgia teams, 3-4 years ago, they would hit you with the misdirection, give you a little bit of window dressing over here, come back at you. But my thing is, help your quarterback. That's what I'm saying. Help your quarterback. Try 10 personnel. Put 4 receivers out there, spread them out, and then see how you run the football. See what happens.
You're right.
You asked me, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Help your quarterback, and just see. You got nothing to lose right now. Just see if it helps. Just see if it works, and go from there. But you are not helping your quarterback with the condensed sets. He's not handling it well. It's the 2 tight ends do not give him the advantages that I think his type of quarterback play desires. And you got him playing with one hand behind his back when you roll 2 tight ends. I mean, you think about it. How many teams have 2 great tight ends? Number one. And if you're playing 2, it's because you feel like you have a mismatch against the defense. Help your quarterback, spread it out, and see what happens.
Yeah, or give him something you can see. It's like they say in basketball, you got to see the ball go to the hole.
Exactly.
See it go in the hole. Now you're different, and you got to give him something. Franz, you got to give him something he feels like he can do well at. What kind of plays would that be, Franz?
Well, you got a guy like, for a game, since somebody brought up the name Aiden Mizell, you got a guy like Aiden Mizell, whose family, mom and dad, are both were once world-class sprinters, He's got blazing speed. How many deep balls has he had thrown his way? You got a tight end that they seem to think you can play horizontal with, and he can make people miss. He's 6'8". He's 285 pounds. I may have more nimble feet than he does. And I have lost a step or two over the years. I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. I can't make people miss anymore. Hayden Hansen ain't made anybody miss him forever. So why not you take advantage of what 6'8", 280 should do? And that's run a tight end into the seam 15 yards down the field and get him isolated on a 5'11", 200-pound guy and let him run over him. But do something creative. I mean, my gosh, go into the locker room before the game. Do something creative. Give everybody garter belts and stockings to put on, or do something wild.
That's the freaky. That play would be called the freaky deep.
But my point is don't be afraid to do something that may seem off the charts crazy.
What would that be?
Because you got to shake this team up.
What would that be, Ben, for a tight end? What tight end play, real quick?
A tight end. If you got two guys that are totally different in what they do, what about some of these crossing routes, man? Stop lining them up on the same side. And I'm a fan of the two tight end set, but it has to be a weapon personnel, not just a personnel. It got to be the greatest tight end duo you ever seen in college or pro is Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. It was unstoppable. You couldn't stop him.
You got 15 seconds to tell me about Saturday night, and I got to go right to Loren. Saturday night, what's going to happen? Ben, you go first.
Listen. Saturday night, we're gonna learn a lot about these players from the University of Florida real quick. We're gonna know, look, either you want to do it or you don't, because guess what? There will be no sympathy, empathy. There will be no feeling sorry for you. You gotta want to do it. Because everybody was laughing and joking about the quarterback that left Georgia that went to Miami. Well, they ain't laughing now.
All right, Loren, you're up next. 15 seconds. What's going to happen Saturday night?
Man, I mean, I could sit here and say it. I'm betting the cover again. And it'll be all right, but I don't see it, man. He not gonna change. So that's gonna be their Achilles heel. The kids will play hard. He just handicapping them.
All right, Franz, you said which team will show up. Which team is going to show up? 15
And
seconds.
I don't know. And that's the problem, is I don't know if they're going to show up fired up, focused. And that's the key right there is are they focused in on what they've got to do, or are they out here looking at all the pretty girls and everything else? I don't know.
That's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm going. That's what I'm gonna be doing.
I'm gonna be down there. My belief is this: is if Florida shows up focused, it's going to be a white knuckler.
Okay.
If Florida doesn't show up focused, the Gators are going to get absolutely blown off.
All right. Good job, guys. Good, everybody. Franz, thank you. Ben, thank you. Loren, thank you. Enjoy the weekend.
Yes, sir. I'll see you down there, Franz.
Absolutely.
All right,
yes, sir.
guys. Thanks a lot. We've got plenty of good coverage coming your way. That would be coming up on Gator Bait, where you can find these guys who write, especially Franz and, of course, Loren as well. No, Loren didn't write. I got to get Loren to write. Yeah, Loren's doing some good writing. It's Ben that doesn't write. All right, so let me tell you about Titan MRI. One of our fine sponsors. We're so glad to have them aboard. They, of course, are now Titan MRI and Imaging. They have 3 locations to serve you, 2 in Gainesville with Park Avenue and now the Millennium Center, and 1 in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta, Georgia. Coming soon to Marion County and Ocala. Titan MRI Imaging offers the same great customer service. They will make an appointment for you at night if you can't do it during the daytime. They want to make sure that there's something that fits your schedule. They now accept insurance, or you can go through their convenient self-pay options as well. Titan MRIs offers MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, ultrasound, easy scheduling, lots of options, larger MRI machines for your patient comfort. No ERs, no hospitals. Coming soon to Ocala. Titan MRI. Go check them out. There's several locations to serve you and more coming your way soon. Good show tonight. Thanks to our team. Appreciate that. Going to be an interesting game on Saturday night. I hope you'll enjoy it. Let's see what happens. I think the Gators got a shot here. I think they got a shot. All right. Have a good night, and we'll be back again over the weekend. Don't forget to read us in GatorBait if you're not a member and you haven't subscribed to it. Go to GatorBaitMedia.com and do that right now, because some of the best stuff you ever want to hear read is going to be on GatorBait. Some of the best stuff we think you'll read. Have a great night, folks.